The Beer Association of South Africa is calling for a lifeline to craft brewers devastated by the electricity crisis. Now, power cuts have affected the entire beer value chain. BASA is calling on the Finance Minister, eNCA, to announce amendments to current excise regime governing the alcohol industry. An advisor to the association, that's Gregory Marks, joins us now to discuss this very issue. Gregory, good morning and thank you very much for your time. So you're calling for a regime that will offer some sort of a lifeline to beer brewers. Just talk us through the industry's challenges that have compelled you to make this call.
Good morning and thank you. Yes, in recent times, the beer sector has suffered tremendous challenges where production is down by between 25 and 40%. As a direct consequence of the load shedding, one needs to understand that brewers need at least 9 hours of uninterrupted power supply in order to run a successful brew. And undoubtedly, with a stage 3 load shedding schedule, the production has been down by 25 to 40%, as I've mentioned, while the operational costs have increased by around 15%.
So for most of them, did they attempt to get alternative energy? How have they been coping?
Well, it's been a challenging part for the sector, and naturally, most brewers have sought alternative energy supply, but the alternative energy supply has an adverse effect on the operational costs, and that just drives the operational costs even further upwards.
So would that mean that they would then push the costs to consumers perhaps at any time soon, if nothing happens on the side of the Finance Minister at the very least?
Well, you know, South Africa is a very price-sensitive society, and pushing the cost to the consumer would have a negative impact on the business. And one needs to also appreciate that the beer sector currently provides 1 in every 66 jobs in South Africa. So there's a direct consequence if the cost can't be pushed to the consumer with operational costs increasing, that it is undoubtable or unforeseeable that there'll be job cuts in the sector.
So at this point, have there been none? Because we're coming from COVID. It also had its own impact on our economy. And then most recently, the power cuts. Have there been no losses insofar as jobs are concerned?
Well, thank you for raising the topic. Yes, indeed. During COVID, many of the brewers, around 20 to 40% of brewers, had to close their doors because of the impact of the COVID lockdown restrictions. And as the economy has recovering, and as the beer sector itself is recovering, we are now hit with these load shedding schedules, which has an adverse impact on the sector. And again, where the sector holds 249,000 jobs, it is undeniable and foreseeable that with increased operational costs, that it will have an impact on job security.
And then broadly speaking, beyond just this call, what are you hoping to hear from the Finance Minister in his address tomorrow that can just ease the pressure in just this industry?
Yeah, so the Beer Association of South Africa has been advocating over the last 2 to 3 years for a more sustainable excise duty regime where the differentiation between different products is recognized, and the attempt of specifically the beer industry to produce lower ABV, alcohol by volume products, is recognized, and that those are indeed taxed lower. The current regime is stifling, to say the least, for the innovation in the industry. By example, I visited one of the craft brewers on Friday, and the innovation has hampered their growth, where their brewery, in fact, supports most of the jobs in their small town.
Gregory, thank you very much for your insights this morning. That was Gregory Marks from the Beer Association of South Africa.